one reason why, and also giving back to my community and helping others to realize what I've realized. Because when I did realize that I had a problem and I knew there was a better life ahead, it was like the ultimate high. And I would love to share that with the next person. You know, the next person that's struggling, the next person that doesn't have and doesn't know how to cope, you know, and just navigating them into the right direction.
Did you ever do those community service hours that you were given?
No.
You haven't done them yet?
No.
But do you know what you're going to do for that?
I will be serving the community.
Okay, so does that relate to why you want to give back to the community? Is that how you're going to do that?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, well, thank you for answering my questions. I have no further questions.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Montes, I just have a couple of things. My colleagues have asked most of the stuff. So I just want to talk about the gun situation a little bit. You know that you're a convicted felon. You can't possess firearms, right? You understand that?
Right. Yes.
Yeah, you can't. Even if you feel unsafe, if you feel like you're living in a dangerous neighborhood, you cannot possess firearms. If you possess a firearm, you're going to get a very long sentence. The gun crime epidemic in the area is really bad, and they're just not tolerating it. Okay, you're not going to be able to possess a firearm ever again. Okay, just so you know in advance. Okay, and then the other thing, sir, is you got a history of problems driving. You know what I mean? So for the time being, driving is not going to be a thing for you. You're going to have to work on restoring that situation. Well, what's your plan for getting around? You know what I mean? And going to see car, going to work, and all that. Do you have some kind of a plan for that?
Well, I've definitely been asking the wrong questions. My family's got got their own vehicles, but for me, I was maybe I know C-Car, they can help me out a little, but also resorting to using the city bus.
Okay.
I could ride a bicycle to on the bus.
Just driving for you with your record, right, is going to be a risky situation for you. You cannot drive. It's the same thing with the guns, right? It's going to end. Right. It's going to lead you. If you get stopped driving now with all this, you're gonna be right back in here. You understand that, right? You need to get yourself situated and established, and then long-term goal, figure out that driver's license situation.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, sir, that's all the questions we have for you. So we're going to deliberate now, right? And during that time, you can listen. We just ask you don't interrupt.
Okay.
What do you guys think?
Our answer, okay?
You guys think they're going to let him go? They're going to keep him? What do you guys think?
Thank you. So I think we all agree from a public safety perspective, these were very serious offenses. We spent a lot of time talking about the driving under the influence, the presence of guns, and we all know the impact that they have on our communities and people's ability to feel safe. As mentioned by panel member Chance, Mr. Montes is very fortunate that none of those occurrences in his past resulted in serious death or injury to others, because we know that that is usually the outcome that we see. Mm-hmm. So today, Mr. Montes had to do a lot to inspire confidence, I think, in this panel in order to believe that he is suitable for parole today. This is his third serious incarceration sentencing piece, and this time it appears that he has embraced the programs and focused on Tier 4, which he completed successfully and actually went on to become an elder. So to me, that was the very substantive example of offender change. This was also in addition to other relevant programs which addressed his DUI charges, as well as the fact that he pursued CCAR programs and now would like to talk about potential career path there to help others as well. So again, responsivity and offender change, I think, is present based on that. And there's all these other programs that he took as well that I think are going to base the formation for a very good release plan, including stress management and some of the other things. His release plan is solid. He does have a mechanics opportunity in South Windsor. He has thought about his transportation challenges in response to the chairman's question. He's also talked about a second job and or serving as a recovery coach in reference to his community service to give back to the community. And he is actively working to finish his GED. He does appear to have community support and is asked to go to a halfway house in order to continue that transitional structure so that he can be successful in the community. I have him granted today with no alcohol consumption, no contact with a co-defendant, Kevin Rivera, no driving without parole officer permission, the halfway house placement, and obviously we covered other conditions that are not part of our actual release, including the deadly weapons registry that is going to be important for him, as well as the driving restrictions.
Okay, thank you. And we have a chance.
I agree with everything that Ellen Papasasso has said today about Mr. Montes. But for me, based on his criminal history and the fact that he was on probation, that he did not have the ignition device in his car, it is just too much for him. But I do commend him on all the works that he's done. I would not take that away from him.
Understood. Can I ask to confirm the parole eligibility date? I had a different date than what was in there.
2021.
Yeah, is that? Thank you very much. While I'm speaking, I'm just gonna. So, yeah, Mr. Montes, took a lot of programs and does seem to me to exhibit some offender change and is talking about what he learned in the programs and the things he's going to do in the community to overcome some of the areas that's going to be difficult for him around transportation and getting a job. And he wants to use the support of the people that he has available. So I understand, his criminal history is concerning and his past record on parole and probation has not been good. But I am willing to grant him discretionary parole today. That's what I thought. That's what I had 17. Yeah. So, okay. Thank you for clearing that up. So, the conditions that we talked about before I make this motion, just so we're all on the same page, is alcohol, halfway house, and no operation of motor vehicle without the parole officer's permission. And we also have a co-defendant, Kevin Rivera. Anything besides those things? Okay. Okay, so in regards to Robert Montes, inmate number 407531, I make the motion to grant discretionary parole on or after his parole eligibility date, March 17th, 2025. The following conditions in addition to standard parole conditions. No alcohol consumption. You're to be placed in a halfway house. No operation of a motor vehicle without the parole officer's permission. And no contact with your co-defendant, Kevin Rivera.
Thank you.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Okay, Mr. Montes, did you hear that?
Yes.
Been granted parole by majority decision. Okay. So you laid out a plan. You got all kinds of things that you said you're going to do. Now we're going to watch you do all these things. Okay.
Yes, I want to thank you for actually,
Thank you.
all three of you, for believing in me. I understand my past history is not representable, but I will definitely make change for my future, for
Keep in
myself.
mind, you're not going to keep getting chances. Keep that in mind. Okay. Keep that in the back of your mind. You're not going to forever get chances. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you. God bless.
This concludes the hearing.
Man, he's out. He's going home. Anyways, hey, if you haven't done so, please do so. Hit that follow button. It's free 99, and sharing is caring. If you guys go ahead and share this with the ones you love, with the ones you don't love, it don't matter. Just share it, please, and por favor. Also, if you don't like how it looks right here, you could jump on over to our YT account. It's full 1080p over there, and you'll see it'll be the full screen. Highly appreciate it.
What's your name, sir?
Christopher Dahlinger.
Okay,
Christopher. All right. Also, right now, I know you guys, some of you guys don't think this is live. Listen to the date right now when they're talking, and you'll see that it is live, that it's today's date, unless you're living like somewhere else where the time and date is different, then obviously it's not gonna coincide with what I got going on over here. And if you look right behind me, that's our local time right now. It's 10:08 a.m. on the West Coast. I'm from Los Angeles, California. And if you guys wouldn't mind repping your city, let's go ahead and do a collect call, roll call. Rep your city, rep your area code, rep your country, rep your rape. That's just represent. Hey, Georgia, gracias. Highly appreciate that cup of coffee right there. New York, Atlanta, Orange, Texas, 520, Tucson, Arizona, Evansville, Indiana, Compton, California in the house. What's going on, brother? Hey, welcome. De la.
Good afternoon. My name is Parole Officer Torres. Today is Monday, March 10, 2025, and this is the hearing of the Connecticut Board of Pardons and Paroles. The following board members are present this afternoon, and by stating their names on the record, certify they have reviewed all statutory before the prior documents and available pertinent information and preparation of this hearing.
Good afternoon, Robert Zazowskis.
Joy Chance.
And I'm Ellen Zappo-Sasu.
Please state your name and inmate number for the record.
Christopher Dahlinger, 415694.
This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Christopher Dahlinger, number 415694. He is serving a sentence of 42 months for 17 counts of burglary third, 6 counts of larceny third, 1 larceny first, larceny second, and criminal mischief. As of today, records reflect a parole eligibility date of June 13, 2025. There is no victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability plan, has been reviewed, and shows the offender has completed tier 2 invoices. Utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system, the offender's overall score falls within the high range of risk for recidivism. Mr. Dahlinger, this is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
First, I'd like to apologize to the victims, to all of them. There's nothing that really can justify me. There's nothing at all that can justify me breaking into their businesses and violating their hard-earned. That's their pride and joy. Like, there's nothing that justifies me doing that. And the reason, like, before I wasn't really taking things serious, like, or not that I wasn't taking it serious, but I wasn't like out there, and life happens. So it's how I deal with it. Instead of just avoiding problems and avoiding feelings, I need to just address them head on and utilize my safety. I have an amazing safety or like security system for like hard times. I'm sorry, I'm nervous. But
thank you.
I have an amazing safety net to help me through all of the problems that happen, people dying in my life, just negative situations. Instead of making them worse, I'm able to. I have people who can help with that. But and like what I'm gonna do different is not isolate myself. This time I instead of getting out of my comfort zone, I isolated and let
things get worse. This time I'm gonna get more active with the community, find positive hobbies and stuff like that, rather than what I did this time.
Burglary.
And then also AA, NA, and therapy, one-on-one therapy to help deal with the coping skills. Yeah. But thank you.
17
Okay,
counts
thank you
of
very much,
burglary.
sir, for your opening statement. So what's going to
17.
happen next is we're going to take turns asking you questions. And when we're done with that portion, we'll deliberate and then we'll give you our answer.
Thank
Okay.
you.
We're going to start with panel member Chance.
Mr. Dahlinger,
Yes,
you have
Thank you,
problem with
appreciate
drugs and alcohol?
yes.
What are your choices of drugs?
Cocaine and opiates.
So you completed the Tier 2 program.
Yes.
Was Tier 2 able to help you figure out how you can go forward and stay sober without using any of these drugs?
Yes, but yes, and it just showed me that I need one-on-one therapy and counseling for having somebody to talk to sometimes when going through life challenges. But yes, I do feel like it was helpful.
Okay, so tell me how it was helpful to you. What did you take from it? And how you're going to apply that back in the community?
That it's not really just the drugs that are the problem, it's the underlying causes that are making me cope with drugs, like anxiety, those type of things. When before I just shrug it off, I wouldn't realize that there is an issue. I do have an underlying issue to make me always run towards drugs. So this time I'm gonna just address those issues. I'm gonna go to, like I said a few times, the counseling. But yeah, to know that, and also that it's okay to do counseling. I don't have to try to be tough and that I got it, because I don't have it.
Thank you.
But yes, thank you.
So what are you just talked about how you're going to address your anxiety through counseling, but what about your substance use?
Well, I'm gonna go to NA and NA. Really, that's because it's really narcotics. That's really my problem. But that's what I'm gonna go there
Thank you, Lex.
and be around sober people.
So you're in the MAT program?
Yes.
And tell me what you're doing there.
What we have classes during
Thank you.
each month, and we sit in a group, and I'm around people who have the same type of issues as me, and and that's new for me. I never took this step, especially in jail, to do medicated, like assisted treatment. I never took it that far.
So give me an example of what you do in the group sections that you do.
Oh, we go over different coping skills, paperwork, different we do there's different assignments, and we go over like triggers, different high risk behaviors that we need to stay away from, and sometimes they'll have different people come in to talk to us. But yeah, that's
17 burglary. It's the state of
So you
Connecticut.
get input from outside speakers that give you
Yes.
ideas and what you can do. So
Yes.
is anxiety one of your urges or cravings when you get it?
Yes, anxiety and boredom, and not and boredom. Yeah, yes, yes. So anxiety is. I'm sorry, I'm nervous right now, but yes,
Okay. So when you are bored or you're anxious, you use drugs.
yes,
And so the MAT program is kind of helping you to discuss when you are in one of those situations, what you can do as opposed to resorting to using drugs.
yes.
What is one thing that you can do so you don't turn to drugs?
Kind of switch, take a step back, breathe, and then just think about all the positive things that are going on, and kind of focus on that instead of the negative or the what ifs or the bad things that can happen. Kind of be in the moment, like right now, like calm myself down, be in the moment, and stay positive.
Okay. So you've had so many community failures. Why?
I'd say I was letting negative situations. I'd let something small. I'd say something negative would happen, instead of addressing it, I'd go the opposite way. And then it would just compound. Things would just kind of snowball out of control.
Thank you.
And then I wouldn't take I wouldn't go after what the real underlying problem is, whether it's anxiety, whether it's looking at my past. It's I haven't taken those steps to really, and really, honestly, the therapy, I think, is a big thing, because I haven't taken that step, and then I haven't let myself, instead of seeing how far I can, like how good things can get, something small happens, something like a speed bump happens, and instead of embracing that and getting through it, I let it take me off the course. And like now that I see how that gets me every single time, and that's not that I'm never able to, that's not how regular people or normal civilians are. Like they don't do, regular people don't do that. They let it, something happens, they address it and move on. And it's just, yeah.
So why commit burglary?
That's a good question.
There's a lack, like impulse, not thinking through what I'm doing.
They got him.
Just, it was quick.
He got hit. He don't know how to answer that
It
one.
was quick, and not thinking about the damage that I was doing to the people.
He got hit. He's blank. He wasn't ready for that one.
You do burglaries, you do larcenies. Have you ever thought of getting a job?
Yes. When I was just home, I was working. Yes. And I actually enjoy it. I enjoy it a lot. And that's another thing. This time I'm going to go get further in my job training. Because I went to school for masonry, and I was just home. I was working. I was doing landscaping, chimney repair, and cabinet refinishing, and I enjoyed it.
So Dahlinger, you're back here because you did another burglary.
Yes,
It says that you were working at Oman's Garden Center.
yes. Yes, I was, and I let a lot of negative, there was a whole bunch of situations that had happened, and I had let, these aren't excuses because life happens, but I wasn't dealing with a couple deaths, a few people had cancer. There was a lot of situations that I wasn't dealing with them the right way. And instead of addressing them, I had already started using drugs again, and I wasn't able to rein myself back in. Yeah.
So you had a death. You were working. And you went and still committed that burglary.
But I wasn't at that time. I wasn't working.
You had left the job.
Yes. Yeah.
In other words, yes.
Wow.
I self-destructed. Yeah.
Zip it. Zip.
Okay, and here you are. You have received 4 DRs, all for fighting. So what are the DRs about?
Thank you. Thank you. Highly
Just
appreciate that.
classes and personalities, and being in small, like, just being with so many different people in a jail setting. I don't get into any fights in the world. That's not what I do. It's just this setting.
He did make parole.
It was just, I don't really have an excuse for it or anything. I got into 4 fights.
He did
You're
make
not
parole.
giving me anything here to work with, Mr. Dahlinger. I mean, your most recent DR for fighting was just last August.
Yes.
So, and you had already completed the tier 2, the voices. And when did you start the math program?
I started 20 months ago.
I don't understand. Those 4 fighting tickets are just not right. You have so many counts of burglary third. What happens to all those people whose lives you have violated, and then you have 6 counts of larceny third?
Yes, that was due to my drug addiction. And when I was just home, when I was working, I wasn't committing any crimes. I was home for 18 months. And that was the longest that I've been home. And I was doing well. But that's why when I've come this time, I've gone onto the MAP program so I can address these issues, because I don't want to victimize people. And I do have a lot of empathy for people who work hard. My whole family works hard. It's extremely embarrassing, and I know that, and And I am sorry for those people, and that's why I'm going to do different. So I don't put anybody else, I don't victimize anybody. I don't want it. I don't.
You previously participated in the methadone program, and you were previously in outpatient programs. So why didn't any of that work for you before?
Because I wasn't addressing my underlying issues of anxiety and what's happened in my past.
No, this isn't legally allowed. I'm a rule breaker, if you will.
It's just
This is live.
a very difficult situation regarding that. But I thank you for answering my questions and sharing with me today. I'm all set.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, sir. You know, I was reading through your file, and I see you got some stuff going on in Massachusetts too. Are you aware of that?
And what you
Yes,
guys
sir.
are watching is
You
highly
have some
illegal,
unresolved issues that you're
super
going to have to
illegal.
take care of at some point.
Yes.
There's a warrant still outstanding. It looks like they have a detainer.
I love
so that
rule
you can go
breaker.
back there whenever you finish here.
Thank you.
Yes.
So just quickly talk about where do you envision working like when you get all this stuff situated and resolved and you're out back in the community, what kind of work do you want to do?
I want to do landscaping.
Okay.
That's really my landscaping and masonry. And I want to further myself in the trades and get more certifications. That's where I see myself.
Okay.
And that when I was just home, this was really the best. Like I got a sense of fulfillment from that, and also cutting hair. Those are that's what I do in here. And I've started from barely being able to cut to now I'm pretty proficient in cutting. And I've had people down me about it, my cutting, but I got through through all of those negative situations and I kept with it. And I've become really, really good. So maybe cosmetology, but mainly landscaping and masonry.
Okay. All right. Those seem like realistic dots for you. You know, you talked about when you get out, continuing to be involved in substance abuse treatment. You said that you wanted to go to NA or NAA meetings, that kind of thing. Have you identified any places near where you're going to live at that have those meetings? Do you know people? Or have you tried to figure that out yet?
At the Harry Rosen house in Stratford, they have them in the back barn, and I'm in Stanford, but I have a vehicle. If I was able to, I have my license and I have a vehicle where I can go to. I can reach out and go to these places.
Okay. And
then also at the Liberation House, they have them, and that's like maybe a 5-minute drive from my mom's house if I were able to. So yes.
I wanted to understand if you actually know where these places are, if you're just saying, NAA, or if you have some kind of plan in your mind. Okay. All right, sir. That's really all I have. I'm going to pass it on to my
do you guys think they're going to let him go? Should they let him go or should they keep him? What do you guys think?
So
you guys are the judges
we've
here.
Gone over all of the reasons you're here, the 17 counts of burglary, the 6 counts of larceny. This all happens, this particular crime spree, so to speak, happened between October of 2018 and February of 2019. That's 25 counts right there.
Are you guys buying what he's saying?
I noticed in some of the documents that things continued to happen through 2019. And then this last time of May of 2023, the last burglary third, which happens then. So And in the reports, there's a lot of reference to you don't remember a lot of what happened. So I have to assume that your addiction and the substance misuse was driving you during this entire period.
Yes.
Okay. So, I guess my question, I'm curious, when you would break into a whatever, pick one, market or gas station, and you would only come out with, in one case, it was $260 or $280 or $100. Was that for you to be able to fuel your habit? Is that what the money was for?
Yes.
Okay. And then when you took cigarettes off of the rack, was that to sell cigarettes to get more money?
Yes.
Okay. So, and then at one point, you got to the point where you felt comfortable stealing from an office and then two ATMs.
Damn.
I mean, that to me, Mr. Dahlinger, is even worse than rock bottom. Like, this is bad. This is like, and I'm not judging you. We're trying to gauge behavior. And so, do you remember anything about that time period? Like, at any point, do you remember how you were feeling, or what was driving you at that point? Was that like a really low point in terms of?
This was the lowest point of my life. I didn't see my family because I didn't want them to see how I looked, how I was acting. And when I would come down, I wouldn't sleep because I was kept like fueling so I wouldn't feel, because I know better. I know nobody and there's no one in my family that has committed crimes I'm the only person who's done what I've done. And I've been given such an opportunity. I was adopted and they chose me. So for me, I'm letting so many people down by doing this, and then seeing this on the news or getting this, seeing it in the newspaper. I was just numbing myself and running away from the consequences. And just, yes, this was the absolute lowest. And the best point was when I was working. When I was just home, they put me on a rap at D&J Chimney Service because I was really I don't like thinking about all of those examples of me. Like that really that's the bottom. And it's just like, that's what I really need to in the therapy is to address all of that, because I need to find out. I want to be able to hold my head up high, and I know that that's not me. It is me because I've physically done it, and I've made a conscious decision to do it. But it's not me. It's not those aren't my values. I don't like victimizing people. I don't like bullying. I don't like any. That's not me, and I wasn't raised like that. So it's just whether I get this or not, I want to address these issues because I want to be a productive citizen. I want to add to the community. I don't want to take away. I want to be a solution. I don't. This isn't me. Even me being here, this isn't who I want to be. I want to be somebody different, better.
Well, the good news for you is that once you hit that lowest point, there's nowhere to go but up. So, yeah. And I think you're starting to work on that. And I think all of the work that you've done to date is very good. I will say that in one of your answers to one of my colleagues, when you said about if I'm triggered by something, I'm going to, walk away. I'm going to take a deep breath. I'm going to stay positive. At this point, I think you need to understand that the real answer to that is to call a sponsor, to activate your network. You don't have to do this all by yourself. And clearly by the state of what's happened to you in the past, you're going to need to surround yourself with all of that. So you've answered the questions about your release plan already, but it's also a relapse prevention plan that's critical to that as well. And I think that as many programs as you can continue to pursue, as well as set yourself up for in the community, you're not going to have that free time. You're not going to have that boredom as one of your triggers. And you're going to just keep adding to your group of people that you can call, and that will help you.
All right.
So
Thank
Okay. All right, Mr. Montes, we're done with the questions. So now we're going to deliberate. You can listen to us. I just ask you don't interrupt, okay?
All right.
And then when we're done, we'll give you our answer.
Thank you.
Okay. I think we're gentlemen with a chant.
What do you guys? I don't know. I'm on the middle. I'm in the middle on this one. I'm on the middle of the wall. Is this live? Yeah, this is live, and this is coming out of the state of Connecticut. And just so you guys are aware, this stream is highly illegal, super duper illegal. Don't tell the state of Connecticut that I'm streaming this. All right, guys, please, por favor, don't tell them. Super duper illegal. This is like illegal to like the highest degree, if you will.
And triggers. One or two things that he can do to walk away.
I think also it might be an international felony if you're watching it.
But there's more that he needs to do than just walking away.
So you guys might be involved in an international felony.
Have someone he can connect with. When he was asked about his 7 community failures, he talked about allowing negative situations
Can't find
to
me.
happen because he did not address any of his issues. In other words, he did not participate.
Hey, welcome over everybody that came over from TikTok. Highly appreciate you guys jumping on over.
So now he has that to do. I asked him about 17 counts of burglary. Said he was just not thinking clearly, and that dealing with issues of debt is one of
See
those
you guys in the pokey.
things that make him go off and
Welcome
do
over,
things that he
Luis.
wouldn't normally
Welcome
do.
over, John.
I asked him about his 4 DRs, and he said they were just people that really.
You guys from the UK are going to be getting a free trip to the US to federal
those
prison.
2 things tells me that I think Mr. Dahlinger has some more work to do because
It's publicly available. I'm just messing with you guys. Don't worry. We ain't going to jail. We ain't going to jail.
In terms of
Hey,
the
thank you.
fact that he could have sought some advice. And it occurred, I believe the last 2 occurred while he was in those group sessions of the math program, which is where he was supposed to be addressing some of the issues that he had. So I don't think he's totally
My apology.
all of his options to address.
My apologies if I raise your guys' blood pressure.
Issues.
Hey, he got the
I
little thing.
think whether he wants to extend that, complete the math group that he's in, because those group sessions seem to be opening up a few avenues for him, but for me, it's not sufficient with regards to his criminal history. So I did not have Mr. Dahlinger going out, and I haven't been.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so I do hear the beginning stages of some change in his voice, and I believe he also has some additional work to do. Fighting DRs at his age, this far into his incarceration, it's not a good sign. It's not a sign of change. He's been since August, since his last fight. So I'm hoping that he can continue that in the future, and he should work on that and find alternative ways to avoid those confrontations. And he's got some other stuff that he has to deal with in Massachusetts, in addition to all of this. So there's a lot here. I'm also not in favor of granting parole today.
Damn.
Sorry, Zach Satsu.
I agree, but I also think that we should acknowledge so that Mr. Dahlinger hears the encouragement that we do see that he's on the right path, and that, as he said in one of his statements, regardless of what happens here today, that he's going to continue on that path. And I think that that's really important for him to understand that we see it, but it needs to continue, and that's only going to strengthen his eventual release.
I definitely see the change starting to happen in him. I absolutely do.
I do. I'm wondering if those groups that he's going through in the back, because that was where he was able to, talk about some of the things that causes him to use. So he does have some more work to do. And I do acknowledge, the work that he's identified as necessary for him.
He's gonna cry.
And I wish him the best of luck. I do hope that he continues what he's doing, but he has to really look into these DRs. It's only been 7 months ago.
So what reasons?
History, and I had crime offense committed while on probation. I could not use inadequate programs because he's taken some and he's in it.
Yeah.
And I do see some evidence of change. So the only other one that I could do is for institutional adjustment for the DR.
Yeah, so those are the 3 that I had. Did you have anything else?
I didn't have for institutional adjustment, but I'm happy to add that.
Yeah. I think it's been a topic of our conversation. You should probably note it here. Okay, so I think we're ready to make a motion. In regards to Christopher Dahlinger, inmate number 415694, make a motion to deny parole based on the following reasons: his criminal history, poor institutional adjustment, and his current offense was committed while on probation. Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Mr. Dahlinger, did you hear all of that?
Yes.
Listen, you're on the right path. You know what I mean? You really are. We can hear it in your voice, and we don't want you to be discouraged. Keep doing what you're doing. Get all the situation resolved, and then get out there and follow through on what you're saying. Okay.
All right.
All right. Good luck to you, sir.
All right.
This concludes the hearing for Christopher.
Up next on The Price is Wrong. Hey, if you haven't done so, please do so. Hit that follow button if you're on TikTok, if you're on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button. It's free 99. Up next, what? Hey, thank you for that. Highly appreciate that. Man, I think this is the biggest numbers we ever had in the chat before. 1,100.
Yes.
Can you give me 1 second, please?
Yes. No problem.
And man, we gotta do a collect call, roll call, if you will. Rep your city, man. I love you guys from the UK. I know you guys are deep up in this piece right now. It's also Ireland, Australia, New
They will
Zealand,
be back in just a second, okay?
the United States. Man, I love you guys. Do we got anybody from Alaska up in here? Hawaii or Germany, Amsterdam? We got anybody from Europe up in here? We got Chicago, Australia, carnal, Sheen Gators, Yambro, Las Vegas. We got Dallas. We got John and Cali. We got Vegan Jeeper, Miami, Sheen Gators, Germany, damn, LA, the 213, Fontana, California, Arizona, Lebanon, Mexico, Philly, Puerto Rico. Damn, we got somebody from every corner of the earth right now. That's what I'm talking about. You guys like these parole board hearings? Hey, I do them Monday through Friday on a daily basis. Check us out on YouTube. That's where I archive all our streams. I also do phone calls from prison, from currently incarcerated individuals. We do video visits. We do parole board hearings. We do initial appearances. El Salvador, that's right. The 503 San Salvador, Rep York City. ¿En qué departamento estás, Maje? My boy, New Zealand. Damn, Syracuse on fire. Muy caliente. Hell yeah. That's what I'm talking about. I like you guys, man. I like you guys. Atlanta, the ATL. We got the UK. Man, it's nonstop. First time I came across you, bro. This is hella interesting. Hey, welcome, Bloom. Highly appreciate it, man. I don't know how the hell I came across your FYP, but shit is working is magic. And also, hey, don't forget, whenever you guys get a chance, jump on my profile and check some videos out. And if you guys could drop some comments or repost, highly appreciate it. Bookmarks, you know, like I said, sharing is caring. Share, send it on over to your family members. Those ones that you love, and even the ones you don't love, even the ones you don't like, shoot it to them. That might bring you back together, if you will. Highly appreciate it. Damn, we're trying to get this account up to 10,000 followers so we could become part of the creator program, if you will. Trying to quit my job, you know what I'm saying? I see other youngsters doing this. I'm like, shit, if they could do it, hopefully I could do it. Let me see. Let me get my feet wet, if you will. Anyhow, so those of you that don't know who I am, I'm James. I'm the host with the most right here at CollectCallFrom, or you have a CollectCallFrom. And if you've ever been incarcerated, or even if you haven't been incarcerated, I'm sure you guys are familiar with those collect calls when either your family member calls you, your dad, your mom, your uncle, your sister, your brother. And that's why I named this channel You Have a Collect Call From, because whether you're receiving the calls or you're making the calls, we're all connected in some way when it comes to the legal system, if that makes any sense. Do you just I do different states. I don't only do Connecticut. I do Utah, I do Oregon, I do Kentucky. Man, I do like 10 different states depending on what the schedule is. But yeah, I'm all over the United States when it comes to these streams. I got a whole wide variety. That's what I'm telling you. You guys should definitely check out my YouTube page at CollectCallFrom, and you check out all the playlists of all the different types of streams and videos and lives and all the stuff that I got down there. Do you do Syracuse, New York? New York does not. Their border patrol hearings are not open to the public, so I don't do them. HMP Brixton, Her Majesty's Prison. How do I know that? I don't know. I just know. HMP, hell yeah. Hey, if you guys know anybody that's incarcerated in the UK and you guys could connect me with them, I would highly appreciate it. Get into my DM, especially if they have a cell phone. Let me know, because I'm trying to get that UK plug. I'm trying to get that Australian plug. I'm trying to get that worldwide plug. So if you guys got any friends, families, or anybody that you guys know that are incarcerated that want to come on, let me know, because we got to take this show on the road. I'm trying to make it international over here. You know what I'm saying? At Collect Call. That's what I'm trying to do over here. As Google laughing out loud. Have you ever streamed? I couldn't finish reading.
Good afternoon. My name is Pearl Torres.
High
Today,
profile
Monday,
hearings.
March 10th,
Yup, I have.
2025, and this is a hearing of the Connecticut Board of Pardons and Paroles. The following board members are present this afternoon, and by stating their names on the record, certify they have reviewed all statutorily required documents and available pertinent information in preparation of this hearing.
Hey, Andrew.
Good afternoon, Robert Sazowskis.
You're not cool, Andrew. You don't run the show
And
over
I'm
here.
Ellen Zappo-Sasso.
Please state your name and main number for the record.
Joseph Ferland, 440121.
This hearing is being
I do court
conducted in
hearings, yeah.
consideration of the parole application for Joseph Ferland, number 440121. He is serving a sentence of 15 years execution suspended after 5 years, followed by 5 years of probation for criminal possession of a pistol or revolver and 2 counts of possession with intent to sell. As of today, records reflect a parole eligibility date of June 1st, 2025. There is no victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability plan. It has been reviewed and shows that the offender has not completed any program. Utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system, the offender's overall score falls within the moderate range of risk for recidivism. Mr. Ferland, this is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
Thank you. I have been incarcerated 2.5 years, where I've had time to reflect on my choices in life and the events that led me to where I am today. I learned a lot by reading books and studying real estate marketing and financial advisory to pursue my goals. When I do finally get another chance to better my life and future for me, my son, and my family. I've had time to come up with a plan and realize where I was doing wrong. I have multiple job opportunities lined up for me as soon as I get home. I have been unsentenced most of my jail time and have been on multiple waiting lists for programs like Voices, the CDL program, and a job to have other options for employment. I hurt myself, my son, family, and others with my foolish actions and take full responsibility. I just need a chance to better myself and make better choices and decisions going forward. This experience changed my outlook and opened my eyes, showing me failing is not what I want in life. I want to better myself every day. I've never been through anything like this before. So I know I must sound like a lot of people, but only I can change and prove to myself that I will make a better life from here on out. I take full accountability for all my actions. Thank you for this opportunity, and thank you for giving me a chance to express my grief for those I hurt. I want to apologize to everyone that I have hurt, alarmed, or upset with my past behavior. I am committed to doing the necessary work to get back to a healthy, safe, and productive stage in life. I am very sorry for what I have done. I acknowledge that I was only thinking of myself at the time and not the people that I hurt. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much for your opening statement, Mr. Ferland. So what's going to happen now is we're going to take turns asking you questions. And then when that's done, we'll deliberate and then we'll give you our answer today, okay?
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to start with the questions today. I've read through your case and looked it all over. And so we'll just start with the drugs. Why were you selling drugs and not working?
I was lost in life. I was doing drugs also, so I didn't know I wasn't in the right state of mind.
What kind of drugs were you what kind of drugs were you doing?
Percocets.
How bad was that problem?
It was very bad.
Like how much a day? Like how many Percocets do you think you were doing a day? Just on a bad day, you know?
Around 10.
All right. I mean, I look at your drug and alcohol score on here, and you know, this is an issue because your drug and alcohol score for some reason with DLC is a 1, which is the best. Like you have no drug problem, you know.
Yes.
But you need to be, you know, in some kind of drug treatment with taking 10 Percocet a day. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Are you in the methadone program? You've done anything like that at all?
No.
So right now you're just cold turkey. You're not doing anything.
Yeah, nothing at all.
All right. Yeah, I mean, it's going to hurt your decision making. You know what I'm saying? The drug problem's got to get addressed. You know. What about the gun? Why were you carrying a gun?
Just for my protection, really. I really had no reason for it. It was just I was selling drugs and around the wrong people at the time, so I was worried about my life.
Did you have a pistol permit, or were you allowed to have a gun?
No.
Did you ever have any training using a gun?
I did take a course pursuing a pistol permit, but I never got a chance to get the license.
Right. All right. I mean, there's a lot of gun violence now. You know what I mean? So it's pretty serious. Carrying a gun, and now you're a convicted felon, so you're not going to be able to carry guns or get a pistol permit or anything. You understand that, right?
Definitely.
Okay. So just going back to the Percocet, I did read about that you had a problem with it. And I mean, do you consider yourself to be an addict?
I'm not anymore.
But at one time?
Yes.
Okay. So have you done any substance abuse program while you're in there, like AA, NA, CCAR, anything to like try to prepare for release?
I've just been on waiting lists since I've been sentenced.
You said you read books, right?
Yes.
Have you seen any books in there about substance abuse recovery or anything in the library where you're at?
Yeah, I've seen a couple.
Right. Well, I mean, there's no waiting list for that, right? You should be able to get one. You have to try to find a way to advocate for yourself to address that part of this problem. You know what I mean? You have a lot of different things going on, but the underlying drug problem, you know, led to some of these other things. You need to make sure that that's you're ready to handle that stress when you get out, you know,
Definitely.
and what you're going to do when you're put in that situation where there might be drugs around. You know what I mean? I'm concerned because you haven't completed any of the programs. I know you said you're on waiting lists and you're reading some books. Tell me about the books that you have read.
I read books about real estate and learning how to go into stock marketing. I read a couple of books like that while I was in McDougal.
Okay.
And I read a couple, another book about recovery, for like being around the wrong people and stuff like that. People that have like different stories.
Okay. And I read that you might be starting a Voices program. Have you heard anything about that?
Yes, I have. Yes, I'm in the program for March. I have the slip right here.
Have you started any classes yet or no?
I believe it starts in another week or in a week and a half.
Okay, so that's good. So, I mean, they are starting to give you some programs, you know?
Yes.
Sometimes they want you to be closer to your end date, you know, before they start giving you some programs. You still have, it's like more than 2 years before your end of sentence, like, you know what I mean? The whole thing.
Yes.
Now you got 3 disciplinary reports, and those are also concerning because here I see contraband and another one for security violation. Can you tell us what happened with the disciplinary reports?
The security breach was, there was an altercation with 2 other inmates on the top tier, and I stood on top of the chair to see what was going on because it was a crowd of people. And when the COs came in, they grabbed me for that. And
Probably it's just mind your own business, right?
yeah, definitely.
What about these contraband ones that I'm reading about?
I got one for Bruno in the cell. It was me and my cellie. He was going to do a federal bid, and I was unsentenced at the time and didn't know what my fate was going to be, so I was really stressed out at first. I didn't know how to go about anything yet. I was still in a bad state of mind at the time, so I was indulging in bad influences like that.
And what was the other contraband? Was that Pruno also?
It was a paper substance, but I don't know anything about that until I came to jail.
Okay, I did read about that. Yeah, there was some liquid papers, some kind of probably THC product or something.
Yes.
Yeah, K2 or some other kind of thing, right? So did you have a problem with alcohol when you were out in the community?
No, I drank, but only occasionally.
So you think that your majority of your problem was probably the Percocet?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. All right. How do you think you've changed since you've been incarcerated from the time you came in until now?
I actually have a plan now with what I want to do in my life, and really cleared my head and realized that I want to be with my son and be a better person for my family and for myself and make a better life, because the life I was living was horrible. All it was sad and depressed and drugs. That's not what I want. And I definitely don't want that for my son.
How old's your son?
He turned 4 in February.
Do you have opportunity to speak to him or anything?
Yeah, I talk to him every day, and sometimes I get video visits.
Okay, well, that's good. Have you taken any fatherhood programming at all? You done anything like that?
No.
Okay, might be something that you could ask for, you know? They have some pretty good programs that could probably help you, you know? Did you plan on attending any kind of substance abuse treatment when you're released into the community?
If necessary, yes, but when I go into the world, I don't plan on doing any drugs. My mind is in a good state, and I know that I have a good plan ahead of me for now.
Yeah, drugs are tricky that way, though. I don't think anybody wants to do drugs, you know? I just think, you know what I mean? It kind of sneaks up on you. So you need to have some kind of a plan, you know, a better plan than what you're saying
Yes.
on how you're going to deal with that. Because I don't think people, when they're coming out, say, well, you know, I'm just not going to do drugs and that's going to be that. And then it's just not how it always works. You know what I mean? You're going to have stress of real life situations, trying to find a job, other things, dealing with your family and trying to be a good father and all those things. It builds up and then like you said, you were drinking Pruno with your cellmate because you were stressed out. You know what I mean? You need to be able to find ways to cope with that so you don't go back to that. You know what I mean? That first Percocet, you know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Yeah. So I really do, I would, you know, stress that you need to really come up with a better plan of how you're going to deal with this substance abuse. Ignoring it or pretending like, you know, it's just everything's going to be fine is not really the answer. Can you talk about your release plan? Like, where would you like to work and live?
I'm going to work with my cousin as electrical company. And I'm going to live with my father.
You know how to do that work?
Yes, I know a little bit now, and he can apprentice me and show me everything I don't know yet.
Well, that's a good opportunity. Yeah, most people don't have things like that they can do, so that's good. What about living? Where would you like to live?
I was going to live with my father for now until I was able to get a nice job and have a nice home for me and my son.
Did you talk to him about all that?
Yes.
Just go like this. I think the light went off. Does it look dark in there to you? There you go. Yeah, thank you. So you talked to your father. He's willing to let you stay there?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Is there anything else you wanted to tell me before I pass it on to my colleagues?
I appreciate this opportunity and everything you have to say, and I'll take everything into accountability and make sure I come up with a better plan for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you need to focus on that substance abuse part and don't let that creep back into your life. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to pass it on to my colleague, panel member, Zapo Sassa.
Mr. Ferland, in one of the police reports, it talks about you having 42 bags that were tested for opiates, and then over 14 grams of a white rock substance that tested positive for cocaine. You also had a gun, and you also tried to evade the police and flee when they did the car stop. And this was it'll be almost 3 years. This was your May offense for your criminal possession of a pistol and revolver. You know, the quick money thing about drugs it doesn't make any sense to me. You also made a statement that you had been selling drugs for about 2 years at that point prior to getting caught. If you had not been caught, would you still be selling, do you think?
I wouldn't want to be. I didn't want to sell drugs in the first place, but I just didn't have a plan set in mind. I was really lost.
I understand that, and I understand how addiction can muddle someone's thought process, but I'm concerned about you in terms of taking accountability and responsibility for things, because another statement you made was that you were doing a lot of bad things and a lot of people weren't trying to help me at the time. I was around the wrong people. I was trying to make sure I had money. I didn't look for a job. I was trying to make a quick dollar, not thinking about the consequences of my choices. But, you know, you're not 17, you know, you're older. You found time to have a child. It just, I guess I'm concerned that you're not taking seriously what you need to do in order to stay on the straight and narrow moving forward. And I'm concerned about your lack of programming, because I think that's where you start to have those light bulb moments. And I could not understand reading your reports how you were ever scored as a 1 for substance abuse. But to my colleague's point, you need to be out there asking for programs, asking for help every day while you're in that facility. And I'm glad that you're reading books, but there's a lot more that I think you could be doing, including advocating for some of the volunteer programs like fatherhood and others. That's all I have.
Okay. Panel member Chance.
So, for me, I think the reason why he's probably also, because you're not going to have a drug score of 1 and get put on high list of program. So, and he has a 1 based on the information he provided. So he's going to have to go back. And it was puzzling that after he got that criminal ticket, that they didn't go back and do that sort of thing. Because that's normally what they do.
Yeah, they found drugs after that.
Right. So my concern is that he has not done any programs. The fact that he has a drugstore form, and I haven't heard any hint of, change because he hasn't done programs. And I agree with you that the light bulb hasn't gone on for him yet. So I think staying there and doing some programs will greatly benefit him.
Right.
And
Do you have any questions for him, Councilmember Chance?
I don't.
Okay. All right. So, Mr. Ferland, we're done with the questions, and now we're just going to continue to deliberate and talk about your case, and then we're going to give you the answer. I just ask that during this time that you don't interrupt. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Thank you. So, so I agree with both of. I mean, all three of us are talking here. So, he's going to be in the Voices program soon, so that's good. He's about to start. He's going to need a substance abuse program, whether he finds that through AA, NA, CCAR, or a tier program. That's going to be for him to advocate for, because I can't get him into a substance abuse program.
Not with that.
No, and I would have won. He's going to have to go back to his counselor, right, and talk to them about he had a bad Percocet problem in the past, and he's had tickets already for Bruno and for drugs, and he's got a score of a 1.
And I think he minimized his drug use, and I think that's also part of the problem.
So for me today, I think he has inadequate institutional program participation, and the only other thing I have was poor institutional adjustment for the DRs.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's anything else you guys want to add besides those two.
Well, the inadequate institution program and the evidence of offender change.
That's fine. Yeah,
it's nothing big to.
There really isn't.
Yeah.
At this point to evaluate, there's no way to really point to anything, any evidence that. I understand he's trying to read books and do some things. I'm glad he's doing that, and he's trying to. Sometimes it's hard to get programs. He's got a couple more years left though, so. I don't know how you guys feel, but I would be willing to give him some time and then bring him back for another chance at this after he's completed some program.
What date do you have for it?
His pro eligibility date on here was June 1st, 2025, and his end of sentence looks like August 13, 2027. So he's got more than 2
Give him
years.
a year to get those programs and come up with a relapse prevention.
So, how do you feel about
2026?
It's March right now.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. So, would you be okay with March 2026 every year?
I would, and I would suggest any other positive programming.
So I was going to say Voices, a substance abuse program, and any other positive programs, no DRs.
Right.
And that substance abuse program could come in different variety of ways because
Exactly.
we can't, he doesn't have it on his OAP. He's a low. So it may have to be through AA or CCAR some other way. Going to have to advocate for himself to find a way to get some kind of substance abuse treatment that he could point to as evidence for us that he's made change.
It's evidence that there's a little bit more going on with him that he could do with something else.
Mm-hmm.
So he has to be able to point that out to them.
Okay. So I think we're ready. Okay. In regards to Joseph Ferland, inmate number 440121, I make a motion to deny parole based on inadequate evidence of offender change, inadequate institutional program participation, and poor institutional adjustment. Further move that we have a rehearing in March of 2026, and that we recommend that he complete the Voices program, a program to address addiction services program, and then any other positive programs, and remain free of any additional disciplinary reports. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Mr. Ferland, did you hear all that?
Yes.
You're on your way. We hear that you want to change, and we've heard, you're reading books and doing things. Now, obviously, the programs are a problem that you need to, get into it. So you're about to start Voices. You need to advocate for yourself to get some kind of substance abuse treatment, whatever that is, addiction services, whatever program you can get. And then you can't have any more DRs, okay?
Okay.
And then what we're going to do is we're going to have you come back. We're going to do this over again in 1 year from now. Still have a lot of time left, but you're going to have a second chance. A lot of people don't get this, okay? So now is the time to really think things through. Don't let any more DRs happen, okay?
All right. Thank you.
Yep. Good luck.
This concludes the hearing for Joseph Ferland.
Up next on The Price is Wrong. Let's see what it is. Hey, let me ask you guys something. For those of you that are on YouTube, that are watching on the vertical stream, I see there's 53 of you guys. How is it that we only got 16 thumbs up? The math is definitely not mathing, my guys. Come on, how you guys gonna do me like that, man? You guys been here for hours. You guys can't even hit the thumbs up. Come on now. Hey, also, if you're on the TT side or the TikTok side, if you guys go ahead and hit that follow. It's free 99. You know what I'm saying? Or sharing is caring too. Shoot it to the ones you love. Shoot it to the ones you don't love. Just send it to somebody, anybody. It don't matter. Hey, thank you, Jersey. Highly appreciate that right there. Gifts are not required, but they are highly appreciated. But what I do want from you guys, I definitely 110% is going to be those follows. That's what I need. We're trying to get to that. We're trying to get to that 10K. We're trying to get to this account to the creator program, if you will. All right, up next, what do you guys think this guy did? Hey, Sue, highly appreciate that. Auntie.
Good afternoon. My name is Parole Officer Torres. Today is Monday, March 10th, 2025. This is a hearing of the Connecticut Board of Pardons and Parole.
Chloe.
The following board members are present this morning, and by stating their names on the record, certify they have reviewed all statutorily required documents and available pertinent information in preparation of this hearing.
Good afternoon, Robert Sazowskis.
Good afternoon, Joy Champs.
And I'm Ellen Zappo-Sasser.
Good
Please state
afternoon,
your
everyone.
Please state
Good
your name
afternoon. Sorry, my name is Jahi Brooks.
and your number, please.
It's 447-134.
This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Jahi Brooks, number 447134. He is serving a sentence of 27 months flat for possession of intent to sell and distribute narcotics.
Who
As of
called that
today,
one?
records reflect the parole eligibility date of January 30th, 2025. There's no victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability plan. It has been reviewed and shows that the offender completed tier 2 and voices. Utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system, the offender's overall score falls within the moderate range of risk for recidivism. Mr. Brooks, this is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to start by thanking the state for an opportunity to stand before you today. I understand that this hearing is a privilege, and I am truly grateful for it. This experience has humbled me entirely and changed my perspective of life. I believe I should be granted parole because I have changed my behavior and way of thinking overall. I learned a lot during my incarceration in assigned programs, tier 2 and voices.
Thank you.
I learned how important it is to take accountability for my actions as a man and member of society. If you don't take accountability, how can you change? Also, that you should treat people the way you want to be treated.
Thank you.
I have 3 sons that are left behind due to my wrong choices, and it hurts me every day. I wouldn't want nobody feeding my kids any drugs if they have substance abuse issues. The thought of that helped me reflect on what I did, and I am very remorseful. I want to sincerely apologize to the community for my wrongdoings and participations in illegal activities. I was wrong, and I learned my lesson. I'm humbly asking the board for one more chance. I'm not a drug dealer. I am so much more. I promise I won't take it for granted. I have a plan that will help me effectively enter back into the community, and I have my family's full support. There are resources that I've also found while being in here, one being the Million Jobs campaign. They help felons find opportunities to work and secure housing. I'm ready to get home, be a productive law-abiding citizen, and the best father I can be. If I could do things differently, I would have been way more patient. I would have looked into more resources, and I would have maintained a positive mindset. Thank you all for your time and consideration.
Thank you very much, sir, for your opening statement. So what's going to happen today is that we're all going to take turns asking you questions.
Okay.
And then when we're done, we're going to deliberate, and then we'll give you our answer, okay?
Okay.
And then we're going to start with my colleague, panel member Zapu Sasser.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So we're going to discuss some of the bad stuff first, and then we're going to move into all the positive stuff. And I can't not hold you accountable for your "I'm not a drug dealer" comment when you have 2 previous possessions of controlled substance charges on your criminal record. So go ahead.
Oh man, I was actually reflecting on who I am as of now and not prior to incarceration.
No, we
Sorry
know.
about that. Sorry for
No.
understanding.
We have to gauge offender change, and we have to gauge your suitability for release. So we're going to ask hard questions and talk about things like this, because what we hope that it does is it brings us on the path from where you were to where you are. So these are hard questions, but we're in a no judgment zone. We are simply having the conversation because we have to learn who you are now, because we've read about you. We've read all of this information. So
That's not good.
I appreciate what you said about having young children and not wanting them to be set up and be poisoned within a community. Drugs and guns and all other aspects of violence are very, very bad. We all know that. So we all have to take a stand, regardless of whatever small role we can do in order to keep our community safe. So it's a public safety issue that we're concerned about. I appreciate you taking accountability for that. And I have to assume, Mr. Brooks, that at this point, you look back on that and you were engaging in it for easy money, right? I'm assuming it was all about the money.
Well, you know what? If I could state to the board, prior to me being incarcerated, I had got my CDL. I obtained my CDL Class A. I had a really major trucking accident that happened, and it kind of like drifted me into doing things that I wouldn't normally do. I got distracted, and it was, as you said, it was for quick, easy money, instant gratification. And in all reality, I lost more than I gained.
Oh, so that's an important insight for you to understand. Was the truck accident your fault?
To be honest with you, I still have to take care of the matter when I get home. That's why we're still in the process of an investigation, trying to figure out what happened. It was a couple of different things that happened in regards to the weight distribution of the truck, the product that we were carrying, which was water. So when the truck is moving, the water is actually moving with it. So it's actually an ongoing investigation at the moment. So I currently can't answer that question right now, but I will have the answer soon.
So at this point, there's nothing that is preventing you from potentially continuing with your CDL upon release.
Oh, absolutely not. Other than when I came in, I had a warrant. So I think in the state of Connecticut now, they suspend your license if you have a warrant, an active warrant. I didn't know that until recently. So other than that, as soon as I get home, I'm planning on going to the DMV, reinstating my license, and getting back to work.
Okay. So going back to your sales, there were a lot of pills. There was a lot of everything in that possession with intent to sell charge. Can you tell me a little bit about what was going on? Your brother was involved as well. So how did you get into this trade, shall we call it?
So like I said, after the accident, I started hanging around the wrong people.
That include your brother?
I mean, yes.
Did he bring you into this? Did he suggest this?
I honestly, as a man, I'm going to take accountability for my own action. Nobody put a gun to my head. Nobody forced me to do anything that I did. I did it out of my own will. But yeah, so as far as me being around the wrong crowd, and then
I actually was indulging at the same time as getting high. So it was a combination of a lot of different things. Being out of work for a little while and then having to pay my bills and not being patient. And, you know, it was a combination of everything that kind of led me to handling and selling drugs.
Okay. So with that being said, you've had no problems during this incarceration. Did you have a hard time adjusting? This is your first time in, right?
Yes, ma'am. It was actually kind of challenging because left and right, you know, things going on in here, down to fights, misunderstandings, theft, a lot of different things. So I had to first assess myself when I came in here. I had to see where I was at. Then I had to say to myself, what could I do to avoid problems so that way I could get home to my sons as soon as possible. So I just decided that, you know, maybe I was gonna just deal with people as less as possible. I'm already in here primarily for being around the wrong crowd. So I said to myself, you know, maybe I should try tackling that obstacle first, staying clear from the wrong people, and then kind of communicating with my family has kind of made this stay a little bit more, how do I put it? Just a little bit more. This has been a very difficult year, so I can't say I got comfort. I had got a little bit of comfort out of, you know, communicating with my family members, staying away from people, kind of bad energy. I am a believer in Christ. So, you know, giving God the glory and honor that he deserves. I had to kind of focus more so on what I believe in, what I stand for, and stay away from anything negative that was going to kind of distract me from that.
Well, you're doing a good job with that. You've had one community release failure and one success when you were out in the community the last time. So, you know, I think you know what you need to do, right? In terms of upon release, follow all the rules and do all of that. But what I really want to focus on is we are seeing that you have a substance abuse score of 3. You've mentioned, you know, that you were indulging as well as selling. And our records indicate that you reported that you were smoking marijuana up to 3 times a day. And at one point you were using ecstasy as well. Is that an accurate picture of your drug profile?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So let's then veer over to talk about what happened in tier 2 and what you learned.
Okay. So in tier 2, we kind of learned about, obviously, you know, substance abuse issues, relapse prevention. So we had to kind of have group sessions, and we talked about everybody who had a drug issue and what led them to that, and how they got to where they are at today, and what we could do to prevent dealing with the same cycle. So I noticed that a lot of times, like I said before, it kind of stems from maybe you being around somebody, or maybe you being around a group of people who are all indulging in the same thing. And then, you know, kind of like peer pressure. A lot of people really don't understand that peer pressure is very powerful. Influence is very powerful. So by my objective, honestly, is to stay clear from peer pressure, stay clear from people who are indulging in drugs or anything of that nature. Kind of time management. I actually failed at my time management skills. I didn't have really good time management skills. So the time that I was spending free, I was actually indulging when I should have been doing other things with my kids or for myself, or or even even for the ones that I love. And so where I'm at now is just like I've been clear-minded for over a year. It feels great. It's like a new breath of life. Not smoking every day, not indulging in anything that I'm not supposed to be indulging in. And that's what I want to continue to do when I move forward and go home.
Did you acknowledge at the time before you became incarcerated that, did you think you had a substance abuse problem? Did you think you were addicted?
No, actually, to be honest with you, I didn't. It took me to come here for me to really actually take accountability for my issues, my wrong choices, my flaws. I had to come to the conclusion that I'm not perfect. Nobody is. But I didn't see my issues. And that's probably what really caused me to continue doing what I was doing, because I didn't take accountability that I had an issue, that I had a problem that needed to be dealt with.
Did your family or fiance think you had a problem? Did anybody ever approach you about it?
Briefly. So my mother, she noticed things. She noticed things that I probably didn't want to admit to myself. So did the mother of my children. When I was present, she noticed things too. But as a man, you know what I mean. I kind of was being hard-headed. I was brushing everybody off, and I thought that I was big and bad, and I thought I could do what I wanted to do, and there would be no consequences behind it. And then I came here, and I had to humble myself down. I got way smaller than I thought I was, and now I'm here before you, just humbly asking for consideration.
What do you guys think?
Mr. Brooks, if people listen to their mothers, the place where you are would probably be half empty right now.
Grant
That's
him,
true.
deny
That's
him.
true.
Thumbs up, thumbs
So
down.
you mentioned as part of your release plan and that a relapse prevention plan is important. So what have you thought about in terms of how are you going to stay healthy upon your release? What does that look like?
So that honestly looks like, okay, well, I actually been working out a lot lately here. So kind of, like I said before about time management, using my time, if it's not work or if it's not the kids, then further my education. I want to do more than drive trucks. So I know that I'm going to have to spend a lot more time focusing on new skills. I also, like I said, me driving is also going to take a lot of time away from me, because majority of the shifts are at least minimum 10-hour shifts. There's never really 8-hour shifts when you're driving. So they might be 10 to 12, or I might even, if it's possible, and if I can figure things out with scheduling my kids, because they're in school Monday through Friday. So if I can figure out some sort of schedule to where I can make this work, I really would like to get home every night. But if not, then over the road, that'll take up almost all the time. I won't have no time for nothing else other than family when I get back home. And on top of it, I just feel so great not indulging in anything. I don't even want to go backwards.
Mm-hmm. So that's a long-term goal with driving. Once you have your license and the CDL issue resolved, is the bakery still an option for you for immediate employment, which was noted in the report, or did you want to take a minute and talk about the Million Jobs campaign and what you think you can get there?
So my manager Dan, I talked to him recently. He said that I'm still, if I still want the opportunities there for me. I was a shipping and receiving clerk there for over a year and a half, 2 years almost.
Okay, so pause right there. Do you make enough money doing that as a shipping and receiving clerk to do what you need to do to provide for your family, or are we going to start having the conversation about needing other money?
No, actually, in the wages actually went up even more than when I went in. But when I was working there, I made a decent amount of money. I really, it wasn't until after I left there and started getting into the trucking and then got into the accident and stopped working. That's what kind of caused me to actually need money right off the rip. My rent was over $2,000 a month. So it was more expensive at that moment. I kind of felt like I was like stuck between a rock and a hard shell.
Right.
So, but that job actually provided pretty well. So that until further notice, until I can make more money, and then even when I start to make more money driving, then there won't be no need for anything other than working and going home.
Okay. And so if you have that as an opportunity while you work through your CDL issues, what can the Workforce Alliance or the Million Jobs campaign do for you?
Well, actually both of them, because I was actually interested in looking into the Workforce Alliance as well. There's one, I believe in New Haven. I think this is one in almost every county, I think. But the Million Jobs campaign is what caught my interest because they specifically help felons secure housing and job opportunities. I wasn't able to get too much information while being incarcerated, but I know that once I get home, that's going to be one of my first stops.
Does your fiance work?
Yes.
So who takes care of the kids while she's working and you're incarcerated?
Well, we actually kind of have a good system right now where she actually works at the center that my two youngest go to school at. And then my oldest son, he's in elementary school at the moment. So we have an after school program that kind of works before school and after school. So they'll help out in the mornings, and then they'll pick him up from school, and then they'll pick him up and they'll pick my second oldest up and bring them to the program until after she gets off work. And they even do a great job at even bringing them home afterwards. So we have a really good system right now. So I can focus, she can focus, and we can work together.
So we've talked about the jobs and the housing and childcare. So how does your substance abuse issues factor in? Because we talked about the release plan, but what about programs? Do you envision yourself going to NA or CCAR programs? How are you going to keep yourself substance free when you're out in the community?
Well, so I believe I talked previously to P.O. Torres about if the situation ever arose to where if I felt like I was ever going down that path again, which I highly doubt. But if that was the case, first and foremost, I believe that I would have a parole officer who will be assigned to me, and that would be probably the first person I'll be contacting and reaching out to for help. Mm-hmm. If they can assign me or point me into the right direction, then like you mentioned, the two programs, then I definitely would take that opportunity to do that before anything goes wrong.
Okay. All right. Well, I think you've answered all of my questions. I'm going to turn it over to my colleagues.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Another chance.
So
Connecticut. This is Connecticut. Sure. They're going to let us know right now whether they're going to let him go home or not.
Pronounce the other part of your name.
It's kind of difficult because it was spelled wrong. A lot happened when I was younger, but the last name is supposed to be Muttlus. It's supposed to be pronounced Muttlus, but it's spelled Muttlus. So kind of was like a error.
Okay, so it's Brooks-Muttlus.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I wanted to ask you, one of the things that you mentioned during your conversation with my colleague was your poor time management skills.
Yes, ma'am.
I wanted to ask how that related to the job that you had, and you had the accident, and then you said you resigned from that job.
I didn't. When it came down to the trucking job, so the trucking job, he gave me the opportunity after the accident to go back to work. I actually worked with an owner operator. So he owned his own truck, and he pretty much gave me the responsibilities of working with him through his truck. So I would get, pretty much 25% of his load. But I wasn't insured at the time. I didn't know that I wasn't insured until after the accident. So I resigned because I didn't feel like he covered me the way that I needed to be covered.
But let me ask you this. So you resigned from that job and then you went and sold drugs?
Yep. Yes.
And the reason I ask you is when you said poor time management, I think you need to add poor decision making.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. And that's not even a laughing matter. That's actually what I could sworn I wrote that in my letter to the board, that I made a lot of wrong choices. I made a lot of wrong choices, a lot of decisions. I should have thought a little bit harder on. I didn't. Yes, it was a mixture of poor time management and poor decision making.
Yeah.
It was.
And I have to tell you that you are very fortunate that you have a partner who is taking care of your 3 sons by herself while you're incarcerated.
That's me.
And I hope whatever opportunity that you get today, that you take advantage of it. Because the other poor decision that you made, and you were fortunate, is when you did that failure to appear first, but they eventually gave you an unconditional discharge for it.
Right.
But you really have to take a look at your decision-making skills.
Absolutely.
Because you keep talking about your 3 sons and you selling drugs to be able to support your habit and balance your 3 kids.
Yeah.
You can't take your kids if you're an addict.
Absolutely.
Right. So I think you need to take your decision-making skills into consideration and be able to work and improve on it so that in the future you'll make better decisions.
Yes, ma'am. So if I could add into the equation, so with the failure to appear, I actually just recently, prior to that, I had my newborn child at the time. So I was it was a kind of an emotional situation, having to turn myself in at that time when I just had him. And then, a lot of decisions that I made that weren't right, I made them under the influence. So that kind of played a part in me making the wrong choices. So, that's why moving forward and staying away from those issues is really big for me right now.
Yes, and that's really all I wanted to go over with you, because I thought Marlene did a very great job in the questions that she asked. I just wanted to point that piece out to you so that it is also a priority for you.
Absolutely. And thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay. So thank you for sharing today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Do you have one follow-up?
I had a couple too.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
It's helpful. Are you going to ask getting in contact with
His brother? Yes.
No. Either his brother or his person.
I'll go back to you after me. So, Mr. Brooks, I had a couple quick questions just to clear up a couple things.
You caught that?
You listed 2 different sponsors on your paperwork, which they weren't able to get a hold of to confirm, where you're going to go. Do you know that?
Are you serious?
Yeah.
The seal.
Yeah,
I actually, so my little brother actually, he he's finishing up his senior year in college, and he's working really hard right now. I'm very proud of him. So he was on the sponsor. I'm not quite sure if that was. I'm not quite sure if that was
phone
because
number. It said the phone number was bad when they tried to call. So I just wanted to mention it because you may hear us in a couple of minutes start talking about halfway houses, and you may have to get that part of this equation sorted out later. We're not going to be able to resolve that today. You know, but you can talk to your counselor or parole officer and try to figure that out after. But I just wanted you to understand, if you hear us talking about halfway houses, that's because they weren't able to confirm either of your sponsors. Okay.
We're doing.
And then the other thing is your brother that was arrested with you. You know, I just had him listed as Jamar Brooks. Does he also use the last name Muttlus as a second name?
No.
yes, I believe
so
so.
he-
Yes,
He uses Jamar Brooks Muttlus.
yes.
Okay. All right. Those are the questions I had. I think that,
No, you answered.
I did it.
I skipped
Is it
the.
possible I can ask a question?
yeah, go ahead.
So about the sponsor, I'm not quite sure why nobody answered for parole, but is
Yeah,
that
you'll have time to work on that. We're not going to get to, there's nothing
it's
that we can do
it's a
today.
job
here
interview.
once us resolve that.
Yeah.
So,
For Walmart.
The person said that it was the wrong number when the officer attempted to call your brother, and your fiance's voicemail box had not been set up. So there was no opportunity for them to reach them.
Okay.
So that's just something you need to know so that you can advocate and get those correct numbers, or make sure that your brother or fiance know that they're going to be receiving a call. You know, a lot of people don't pick up if they don't recognize a number. So that's something that you can work on.
okay? Thank you.
all right, sir. So I think we're done with all the questions. And what we're going to do now is talk and deliberate amongst ourselves. You can listen, but I just ask that you don't interrupt. Okay?
Hey, if you guys go ahead and hit that follow button,
Thank
it's
you.
free 99, and I highly appreciate it.
Okay,
And I'll
and
keep on
remember,
bringing this great
Bravo
streams to you guys in the future.
So
Do you guys think he's getting out?
Mr. Brooks
Is he getting out or is he
25
staying?
years old.
You
He's
guys tell
serving
me.
His first incarceration for possession with intent to sell. He is at this point rated as a moderate risk to recidivate. Today, I liked what I had to hear about him taking accountability, and also at the same time acknowledging the severity of the drug issues that are poisoning our cities, and so many people. I also liked that he made a conscious effort to steer clear of problems
Hey, thank
within
you.
the
Thank you,
facility so
anything.
that he was able to remain
thank you.
discipline-free and focus on the changes that he needs to make. He's taken Tier 2 and the Voices program, both of which are relevant to the offenses that are before us today. I think that he
Sancho
has
310.
shown us
West
that
Side
he
Sancho?
is mindful of why he's there, and that he has taken appropriate steps to not return. He does have a release plan that incorporates a job and everything that needs to go into that to be successful, while also pursuing education opportunities and understanding the role of his parole officer, which, as he said in the written materials, is his first line of defense if he feels that there's
Thank you,
any
Tammy.
potential relapse with his marijuana use. So
Not the ganja.
I believe that, other than the unconfirmed piece about
That's my boy.
release to
Make
a
it rain,
fiance
oh
or a
boy.
brother, where we could
Gracias.
easily deal with that with a halfway house placement in place temporarily, I would be willing to grant him release today.
Okay, thank you.
Hey,
Okay, I'll
thank
never
you, thank
chance.
I agree with Rivers being it.
Okay, and I also agree. So for the stipulations, I have halfway house placement, and then I also have no contact with his co-defendant, his brother, without the PO's permission.
Yep.
But
So,
do we also have to address the no driving unless, did you say you had a suspended license because of your warrant?
his brother was driving during this incident.
Right.
So what is the
Right.
status of your,
Am I allowed to speak?
you can answer the question. What is the status of your license? Do you know?
Right now, it is suspended until I get to the DMV.
Yeah, so the thing with that though, and I see what
It's not related to the offense.
Yeah, and he is a driver, so I'd like to give him the opportunity to get his license straightened out. He can't drive anyway.
Yeah.
if he had been driving,
Yeah,
you know, for the,
it wasn't
Yeah.
driving,
So-
so I didn't.
okay. All right, we okay with that?
No, I am. I'm new. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, but just understand that even though we're not stipulating that there's a driving restriction, don't drive unless you have your license,
Everything, sure,
insurance,
absolutely,
and
absolutely.
registration.
Absolutely. This is my career, my livelihood right now, so I can't take any chances. Thank you.
Okay, so just give us a couple minutes still, sir. We're not done yet, okay? So if you guys are ready, I'm gonna make this motion.
Yeah.
Okay, so in regards to Jahi Brooks-Muttlus, inmate number 447134, I make a motion to grant parole effective March 10th, 2025
Damn, today.
or after. With the following stipulation, in addition to the regular
Connecticut.
parole stipulations: halfway house placement and no contact with his co-defendant, Jamar Brooks-Muttlus, without the parole officer's permission. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, sir. You've been voted to parole. I don't know if you heard that, but the conditions are that you're not going to have any contact with your brother without the parole officer's permission. You can work up with your parole officer
Release.
on that, okay? Because he was involved in this, and you, for the time being, stay away from him, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, that's all we have. Good luck for you.
Thank you all. I appreciate it.
Move the hearing for
Hey, just like that, he'll be out on the street. He'll be out on the calles by tomorrow. Hey, where my people from the UK yet? Represent. Let me see that. Let me see that British flag up in the air like you just don't care. Hey, thank you. Highly appreciate that. Where's my people from Ireland at? Where's my Australians at? Where's my Americans at? Where's my Europeans at? You know what I'm saying? All right, up next, we got another individual. I don't know how many more we got. We've been on here for over 5 hours. Hey, thank you for them butterflies. Gracias, highly appreciate it.
As we charted out to him, my name is Parole Officer Torres. Today, for Monday, March 10,
Gracias.
2025, and this is the hearing of the Connecticut Board of Pardons and Paroles. The following board members are present this morning, or this afternoon, sorry, by stating their names on the record, certify they have reviewed all statutory required documents and available pertinent information in preparation of this hearing.
Good afternoon, Robert Sazowskis.
Good afternoon, Joy Chance.
And I'm Ellen Zappo Sasso.
What do you guys think this guy did?
Please state your name and the main number for the record.
Norway.
Tari McCrary, 13008.
This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Tari McCrary, number 130008. He is serving a sentence of 25 years flat for attempted murder, assault first, assault on a public safety officer, criminal possession of a firearm, carrying a pistol without permit, and assault third. As of today, records reflect the parole to date of January 11, 2025. There is no victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability plan. It has been reviewed and shows the offender completed John Fear threshold. He has also completed Tier 2 and voices since his last hearing. Utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system, the offender's overall score falls within the moderate range of risk for recidivism.
Despensa
Mr.
en
McCrary,
Latino.
this is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
Oh, yes. I would like to state, I would like to apologize to the victim's family, my family, the community that was terrorized that night, and basically just want to show sympathy for other people's feelings. And the reason why I think I need to be granted, because I've changed over the years. I'm 56 now, and my thought pattern is just different.
Thank you.
And I know I had to let the anger grow because I grew up angry. I grew up angry all my life, and I grew up around a violent atmosphere. So my change of thought pattern, my change of seeing things clearly now, and seeing things without a cloud over me, and just a clear state of mind I have now. Like every year I change because I'm getting older, I'm getting wiser, and I'm thinking a lot now. So my life has meaning. Like my deceased mother told me your life has meaning. My mother told me my life has meaning. So don't let your life go in vain. So that's what I'm trying not to do now. I'm trying to like be something in life instead of walking around angry and walking around like with a dark cloud over me or a dark space in my heart. Basically.
Okay, thank you very much, sir, for your opening statement. So what's going to happen is that we're going to take turns asking you questions.
Okay.
And then when we're done, we're going to deliberate, and then we'll give you our answer today.
Okay.
All right, we're going to start with the questions with panel member Chance.
Mr. McCrary, I don't know if you remember me. I was on your last hearing.
That's not a good
I
sign.
remember you.
Yeah, and so this is a rehear for you.
Mm-hmm.
And if you recollect, we gave you a rehear because we wanted you to complete the Tier 2 on Voices program and not receive any disciplinary report.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to tell you, at that time, Mr. McCrary, it was a gift that we gave you because we knew that since 2003.
Damn, 22 years.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And so you had received several disciplinary reports, 34 during that particular incarceration, but you had a total of 76 disciplinary reports.
76?
So we asked you when we gave you the rehear date not to get any more. And you did that. And I certainly heard the change in your voice because now you're saying that you have changed through your thought patterns, now have a clearer state of mind, and you just remember something that your mother said to you and that your life has meaning.
Yes.
Okay. So you completed the Tier 2. Share with me what you learned from the Tier 2 and one or two things that you took from it that you can take with you to the community.
Mostly that addiction lies deep in the community I come from. And addiction is not something that you want to run with the rest of your life. You want to basically be
Thank you, Jahi.
like free-minded, your mind free of substance, alcohol, and you want to take that back to your community. I want to take that back to my community, like, because I have a lot of nephews and nieces that are starting to indulge now. So I want to at least bring back a change of pace to their minds and try to set them up on some better conditions.
Reread 23 years.
So for yourself, and I'm glad to hear that you want to share that with other members of your family, but in terms of yourself, what it is that you think you need to do to stay sober and not use drugs.
Basically, all I can say is I don't need it. That's all I can say is I don't need it. It's better things to do with my time than a bottle of alcohol or drugs.
When would you say was the last time you used any substance?
The last time I smoked marijuana was 2024.
2000 and when?
24.
Last year?
Yeah.
Okay, so is marijuana going to be something that you're also going to continue using?
Nah, I'm too old for that now, and I have diabetes.
Do you guys believe him?
So why did you use it then?
Because I had just my hernia just ruptured, and they sent me from Brooklyn to Corrigan, and I did it for a little something to break the monotony because I was in a dark space. I was in dark space until I got my operation, my hernia operation.
So what happens when you go in the community and you're in a dark space? What are you going to do?
Talk to people, talk to my significant other.
So what people usually do, Mr. McCrary, is either say, well, I'm gonna get a sponsor, someone that I can call and talk with, or if you know what your urges and cravings are, what you do when you get them.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think you're going to do when you get urges and cravings?
Probably, I don't really think, because I really got I got a medical issue. I just can't use. I got a serious medical issue. I got diabetes. I can't use alcohol. I can't use certain things. So my health, that's like a go-to all day for me. I can barely drink coffee.
But you just said last year you were in a dark space and you smoked marijuana.
Because I'm behind these walls. It's different when you're behind these walls. That's what I can say for me. It's different when you're behind these walls and you go through something like that where your hernia ruptures, and that's like that was something I never experienced for my intestines to drop down out of my stomach to my.
There wasn't anyone that you feel that you could talk to about that?
I'm in sales. People don't understand that. Unless I talk to one of the medical staff about it when I got the call, then when I left Brooklyn, when I left the hospital at 2 o'clock in the morning, I talked to a medical staff about it. But unless when you're going through it, until you get the operation, it's like you gotta wear a hernia belt. You gotta it was dark for me. It was nothing darker than that than my intestines dropping down to like in my leg.
Okay. What about voices then?
Voices?
Yeah.
Voices gave me like basically like the statistics of what I've seen all my life and what I've been through all my life. Just hearing about the abusive situations, about the death, what goes on in the community, like basically what I went through all my life. That's what I got out of it is like, I can't be violent. I can't because I look crazy. I'm 56 years old. I got grays on my face that I didn't have when I came to jail. And I just look like a nutcase. And I don't want to look like a nutcase. I want peace of mind in my life for the rest of my life. I want a peace of mind.
But Mr. McCrary, the Voices programs are supposed to be able to tell you, based on the crimes that you have committed, the impact to the victim's family, and to the community, and on your family.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I know the Voices program is supposed to do. But you're sharing the impact to yourself. So can you think a little bit more about what you remember from the Voices?
Oh no! What I read, it impacts everybody. I read the statistics. I read the statistics and everything about it. It affects everybody, not just me. It affects everybody.
And these are very serious crimes that you committed.
Attempted unaliving.
And I know in your opening comments that you apologize to victims and the family and your family and your community. Now, you also had a gun.
Mm-hmm.
You were carrying a pistol.
Yes.
Do you still see the need to carry one?
No, because like I told you, I'm a person that doesn't need something that's gonna harm me or somebody else around me. Those things I don't need around me.
Why do you think you had them at the time?
Because I grew up in a violent environment, and that's what like a lot of the men did in the environment I grew up in, Bridgeport, Connecticut.
Well, you know, Mr. McCrary, that there's still guns out there. So don't know if you can envision the impact that guns continue to have on our community.
Yes, I do.
I don't know if you listen to the news or what's going on, but it's extremely prevalent. And so I want to know that if you are given an opportunity to go back in the community, that guns won't be a part of who you are. And if you were, so for example, if you go in a community, and how are you going to respond when you see people that you've known from your past?
See, I go on that one right there. I go on people, places, and things. You don't put yourself around people that in the past, you know what type of time they was on, because if they doing the same things, or if you knew of them and this is what they were into, you choose better friends. You choose better people to be around. That's how I see the world now.
Right.
You
So
know
what would you do if you do enter one? What would you do?
Oh, repeat what you said again?
What would you do if you were to encounter someone from your past?
Oh, if they're not doing what I'm doing, we not having no conversations. Because I got a life to live. I'm 56 years old. I'm not 26. I'm not 16. I'm not 15. I'm a grown man now. So if you're not doing what I'm not doing, what I'm doing, or I'm trying to do in the community, or if what I'm trying to do, we can't have no dealings.
So what are you going to do? What do you do with that face-to-face encounter?
High in the body.
Okay, and I understand that you chose halfway house and you want to go to Hartford or Norwich, which is not the community that you grew up in.
Yes.
Okay. So what does your release plan look like?
To get my finances in order, to get a job
How are you going to
opportunity.
do that? How are you going to get your finances in order?
I have to reach out to resources, and I have to reach out to employment.
You haven't been able to do that, connect, like you want to go to Hartford or Norwich. Were you able to figure out what programs there in each of those regions that you could connect with and find out which one would be appropriate for you to connect with?
All I know is of the Open Heart program that a guy went to from in here, that he said there's a lot of opportunities in it. And that's
right. So you have identified the Open Arts program and somewhere for you to go.
Yes.
And they will provide assistance with employment, and now
yes.
They also have like NAA programs. Do you ever consider participating in those programs too?
Yeah, yes, I can participate in anything that's going to keep me on the straight and narrow.
And what kind of job skills do you have?
Cleaning, baking food, doing food, laundry, maintenance.
Have you ever had problems with finding employment when you were in the community before?
No, when I was home, I was working at Stop and Shop before I got my vendor's license. I was working at Stop and Shop in Litchfield. I worked there for a year before I started my vending business. But I never had problems like getting a job.
Do you think that you would be interested in maybe attending a vocational program while you're in the community?
Yeah.
And if so, what areas would you be interested in?
Any area that's gonna help me. Any areas that's gonna help me out.
Well, you have your GED?
Yes.
Okay, so that's a big thing. So if you have your GED, there are several vocational programs that you should try to get engaged in, because then you will be more able to easily access employment.
Okay.
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 Who do you have for support?
My niece, Lachelle Thompson, my sister, Ariel McCrary.
Knock it off. How are you going to support all those people? You just coming out the
And my
penitentiary.
friend,
Knock
Marie.
it off.
So you have your niece, your sister.
My sister, and my friend, Marie.
Oh, he just named me names. Okay. Oh, to support him. Okay. I was about to say, damn, this fool. What is he talking about?
Do any of them come to visit you?
Nah, I call.
But you can connect with them when you go back in the community.
Yes. I connect with them now.
Okay. So you speak with them on the phone,
Yes.
but they don't come to visit.
Mm.
Okay.
His
Is
support
there
system.
anything else that you want to share with us?
I just want to change in my life.
You just want to change in your life.
That's it. I want to change in my life.
Do you think they're buying what he's selling?
All right. Well, I have no further questions for you right now. I will turn it over to the chair and see what questions he has. Thank you for answering, Mr. McCrary.
Thank you.
Man, this chat's about to give me a C.
Thank you. So, Mr. McCrary, I was not in the first hearing. So I just want to talk about the offenses a little bit, because I wasn't there for that part of it. I know my colleague was, so she kind of focused on what's going to happen going forward. Can you just talk to me about, well, I mean, it's a long time ago. I understand that. Can you talk to me about what you remember in your decision-making when this was all going down, that you just didn't run away? Like, you know what I mean? Why did you make that decision to resort to shooting a police officer?
Oh, snap. What?
Because at the time the crime happened, I was looking for somebody else that ran into my car. So I was angry that night.
No wonder they
when
let
the
him out.
officer tried to stop me, I just fired two or three shots and I just ran. I can't explain it. I can just say I was angry and I was looking for somebody else.
Yeah, he's with the
That hit my
business.
car.
Okay. And then while you were incarcerated, you picked up another assault on a correctional officer.
Not
An
a good
incident
look.
that happened in your cell. I mean, what was going on then? Were you still angry? Like, what was happening?
Oh, on that, he was uncuffing me. He was uncuffing me through the trap. I was in segregation at that time, but they had put somebody in my cell that I didn't agree with their sexuality. And he was trying to take the key off. He was trying to take the cuff off, and I was going back and forth with him through the trap. I wouldn't let him take the cuff off. That's what that was about.
Okay. Did you end up staying cellmates with that person, or they moved you because of what happened?
No, they moved me.
Okay. And now, you talked about, I mean, you've had 34 tickets while you've been incarcerated during this incarceration. I know you've had more overall. And you had a fight last year. It's unusual for someone to have a fight after having been incarcerated for such a long period of time, and then you're an older guy. You know what I'm saying? It's usually like a younger man's thing when they first go to jail and that kind of thing. So for you to have a fight at your age and after like 20 years or whatever being incarcerated, it's unusual for me to see that. So I just wanted to ask you what happened in that fight last year.
It was at breakfast time, and we were on lockdown status, and the CO was delivering the trays to the cell. So I went to grab the 2 trays, and he punched me in the back of my head twice, and I swung at him, and it was over.
Okay.
He's standing on business.
I mean, you've talked about anger quite a bit. You've mentioned that word several times throughout this, talking about, you know, where you grew up and the days of this incident with the police officer with the shooting. Your anger sounds like it was displaced. You were more angry about someone hit your car, really, right?
Yes.
You know, not so much the policeman. It was just the way the circumstances led.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And then I read at one point you had anger management on your OAP, but in 2012 they took that off. And they said on the note that I read that they were going to re-put it back on later in your incarceration, but it doesn't appear that it ever came back on. I know you did take some programs that included some dealings of anger management, like Beyond Fear and Thresholds. They would have dealt with some of those things in that.
Yes.
But not specifically an anger management problem, to kind of like dig into some of the issues that from when probably where you grew up or whatever, you know what I mean? That you've talked about, you know, it sounds like you grew up in a violent area where you probably witnessed violence as a young person.
Yes.
So, I would like to have seen you complete a program like that to kind of dig into some of those things. I appreciate your apology and your empathy, sympathy in the beginning of your opening statement. I think that was the right thing to do. And I think you started this off correctly by doing that. So I wanted to give you credit for that and just mention that I was listening and I appreciate you saying those things. This affected a lot of people's lives, I'm sure, as you know, for a long time. Now I just wanted to talk about, when did you have the hernia operation? When did that happen at?
2020, just
last year.
To 24, just I think August of last year.
So your last hearing was September 9th. Was it before the hearing or right after the hearing?
I want to say before, it might have been after, it might have been September 18th. I think it was before or after.
Because the other thing that I'm concerned about is when you talk about using marijuana, you were in a dark place, and I was trying to understand the timeline. You said it was last year, and I got the impression that it was after this last hearing, where the operation was. I know you were having a problem with your hernia for a while, but the operation was probably after the hearing.
I want to say September 18th. It was either September 18th or before or August.
Okay. Yeah, that's okay. All right. And that was around the time that you used the marijuana.
The time I used the marijuana was August. Not August. It wasn't August. It was 23, August 2023.
Okay. Because you told us 2024 earlier. All right.
Because I got to Corrigan. I went to Corrigan 2023. Mm-hmm. And that's when I used the marijuana, okay. 2023.
Okay. Well, thanks for clearing that up. I think that's all I have. I'm going to pass on to my colleague, panel member Zapo Saxo, and see if she has any questions for you.
Mr. McCrary, I see that the discipline reports that you've received over the course of the last 21 years have probably influenced your ability to get some programs. You've taken tier 2 voices and the other 2 programs that the chairman mentioned. There was reference to an alpha program. What was that?
That was a Christianity program that I did over like a couple of years. I did it for a couple of years, 2006, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 2011.
Okay. And
It was 2005, 2008.
okay. And what did you get out of that program?
Oh, just to have like joy in my heart and try to spread the goodness. And
What else
that
do you do
goodness.
to pass the time?
I read a lot. I read a lot.
To do what
What kind of
degree
reading
goodness?
material do you prefer?
Self-help.
Anything else that you do?
I write. I try to come up with like little like type of meals because my niece Antoinette has a juice bar and she's crazy with the cakes, the cupcakes, the juices and everything. So I try to come up with like little recipes for little meals, for like a little food truck, because she said she wanted to invest in a food truck, and her and my niece Chef, they're both sisters.
Is that something you
Spread the
envision doing?
goodness.
You said you enjoyed culinary.
Yeah, that's something that I want to put my hands on because I cook in here, like little knickknacks, little meals, I make little cakes and stuff like that. So try to put that out there.
I don't think he's gonna get the job.
Understanding that you grew up in Bridgeport and we talked about the violence piece and everything that goes along with that. Has your mindset changed over the last 20 years about police officers?
It changed a whole lot. It wasn't so much. It was a police officer. It was just so much. I was an angry person. I was walking around angry. So if I'm walking around angry, I'm no good to nobody. No good to myself. No good to the people I'm around. So unless I change me and self-evaluate me, start self-evaluating me, I'm no good to nobody.
Did you know that?
The
Did you know
angry
it was
baker.
police officers when you were walking around trying to find the person you were looking for? Did you know it was police officers that rolled up on you?
Rolled up on
Yeah,
him.
and yes, I can say yes.
And so it was just a impulse reaction?
Yeah, just wanted to get away.
So he's a writer.
That's an impulse decision that cost you a lot of time.
Yeah, but you do foolish things. I know me, I do foolish things when I'm not thinking. I do foolish things when I have so much anger built up in me.
And do you feel that you've taken that anger away at this point with everything you've been doing?
I'm working on myself. I work on myself every day.
Thank you.
Yeah, he tried to take out 2 coppers.
Hey, sir, I think we're done with the questions. So what's going to happen now is that we're going to deliberate and talk about your case, and then we're going to give you our answer. I just ask that during this portion while we're talking, you don't interrupt. You can listen. Okay?
What do you guys think? What's your opinion, guys?
Okay, thank you, sir.
Do you guys think they're
Give
gonna let him
another
go,
chance.
or are they gonna keep him in? He was talking about he was gonna spread some goodness
Serving.
and bake some. He was gonna bake some cakes. The angry baking man.
Take them.
A lot of you guys are saying no. I think this is gonna be a no go for him. I think things ain't looking too hot. He is not. Things ain't looking too hot for him.
While he was incarcerated.
And he beat the cops
Criminal
too. So that
possession of firearm and carrying a pistol without permit.
that's definitely not helping his case.
So in his last hearing on September
Thank you, Susie.
9th
Highly
of
appreciate that.
last year, he had also at that time expressed some remorse and said, one of the things that was helping to change this mindset was participating in that ALPA program over a 2-year period. And as he expressed today, and he did complete the anger management program in 2004.
You guys are a tough crowd.
In addition to threshold and beyond fear.
This is live. This is in Connecticut.
In looking at his overall case at the time, we wanted him to do a tier 2 to address his substance abuse and the Voices program, so that it could give him an idea of the impact of the people that his crimes have affected. And so today, he did complete those 2 programs. He has not received any DR since his last hearing.
Oh, he hasn't got it. Damn. Okay. That's
and
positive.
I know it's been a long incarceration for Mr. McCrary. So I do hope that given the opportunity today, that he will take advantage of it. And by giving him this opportunity to be supervised will help him, as opposed to letting him, go without help for all these years. And I do think that he would benefit from some supervision in the community. So I would like to give him the opportunity to go out there under some supervision.
Okay, thank you. Panel member Zappo, Sessa.
Then we got a
Can
one
someone
yes.
confirm for me what the end of sentence is so I can?
He needs one more. He needs one more yes, and he's gone.
So that would be about
Year and a half.
Yeah, 18, 19 months.
Oh, and he's already go. He's gonna max out already, anyways, in a year and a half.
Well, I mean, I struggle because I think any offenses against police officers and safety personnel are serious. They're the ones who wake up every day to go out and protect the community, and it's something that's very difficult when, whether out of anger or fear or whatever, they're unable to do their jobs because they're defending their own sense of self. But I'm not sure the balance of Mr. McCrary staying in to potentially do positive programs versus coming out and being supervised for 18 or 19 months is kind of my tipping point right now. I do think that there would be some benefit to that, as opposed to coming out after a flat sentence and being incarcerated for the length of time that he has been in. I think from a transitional standpoint, I think it would be something that would be beneficial in terms of a discussion about public safety.
Damn,
and I think one of the things that I kept hoping was that I would get some input from either one of the victims. It was a concern, but when I thought about him staying without any type of supervision, then it went back to a public safety issue for me. So.
Okay, so it sounds like that you're both in favor of granting parole today.
23 years.
So I listened to everything he had to say, and I'm going to be in opposition, in the minority here, based on the nature and circumstances, his lengthy criminal history, and his poor institutional adjustment.
Thank you, Playboy. 23 years, yeah.
Okay, that's a good idea. Halfway house?
Yes.
Okay.
And now I do have the officer's name, but
You're looking out, Playboy. Thank you, Laura 19. Thank you, Erica. Highly appreciate you guys. And don't forget to follow. And definitely take
I didn't have it listed here. That's the initials. It's been a very long time.
Yeah.
And I'll leave, it's up to you that you're the ones that are in favor. So if you feel like you want to add it, I will. If you don't,
Thank you,
If,
Island.
if the chair says we have to add it, then we can come back and do add, but I just put it on the record that I do have the two names, but basically all I had was behavior management for anger management and halfway house.
How do you feel about that?
I think that, for example, in the case of the police officer, if he's still on the job, a no contact becomes difficult.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I would look for guidance on that.
Yeah.
I think a case review is probably, if we're told.
Yeah. I think that's the best way to approach it. If we need to, it's just something that happened a long time ago. You wouldn't normally have contact with these people in any other circumstance. It's not a family member or something that he's got to run across.
Exactly.
You know? So I think if we're ready, I'm going to make a motion and we'll use halfway house and anger management, right?
Yeah.
He tried to take out two coppers.
Today's date, right? Okay. So in the matter of Tari McCrary, inmate number 130008, I'm going to make a motion to grant a parole as of today, March
Damn.
10th, 2025. The following conditions, in addition to standard parole conditions, be placed in a halfway house and community-based behavior treatment for anger management.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Aye.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Curry, did you hear all of that?
Yes,
So it's a majority decision. You've been granted parole, okay?
thank you.
On or after today, because your date, the eligibility date has passed already.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna wish you good luck, sir.
Thank you. Thank you to all of y'all.
Welcome.
The hearing.
Damn. How do you guys feel about that?
It's a hearing.
Especially if you live in Connecticut. Haven, what is it? New Haven. Proceed with caution.
You're all set, sir.
Excuse me. What was the last thing you said?
She just said that the hearing is over.
No, what you said. You said.
Good luck, sir.
No. Before that, you said where you set the parole date.
It's on or after today.
Okay.
Yeah, so some point going forward, they're gonna make arrangements with you, okay?
Okay. Thank you. Have a good evening.
So he's getting out. He'll be out. He'll most likely he'll be out by tomorrow. He'll be on the calles. And that's it. That's it for today. Man, it was a good run today, man. We've been on here for 6 hours and a half. Shit, I need to go get some sleep. Hey, if you haven't done so, please do so. Hit that follow button. Follow. And I'll be back tomorrow for sure. You already know this. And if you haven't done so, go ahead and take a little stroll down my YouTube page at CollectCallFrom and follow there too. You'll get the full 1080 HD quality over there. And if you're wondering who's that guy, that was the first guy on the Board of Parole hearing today. He didn't get found suitable. He got denied. We'll see him back next time in the next few years. Anyhow, guys, hey, I appreciate you guys. I'm James. I'm Collect Call James, and you guys are watching. You have a Collect Call From. Do you have Board of Paroles in Southern or South Carolina? No. I'm gonna tell you the states that I do. Okay, so we do Connecticut. All right, that's one of the hitters right there. We do Utah. All right, we do Illinois. We do Iowa. As a matter of fact, we're gonna have Iowa tomorrow. We do South Dakota. We do Minnesota. Minnesota's coming up on the 14th. So in a few days, at the end of the week, let me see what else do we do. We do Louisiana, Ohio, Vermont. Am I missing anything here? And oh yeah, Virginia. We do Virginia. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. That's all the states that I on Oregon. We do Oregon. So yep. That's what I do right there. What state are you in, bro? I'm from Los Angeles, homeboy, California, the 213 West Sider. I'm gonna set you up for the hook me up with the Her Majesty's prison in the UK. Like I said, if you guys know anybody that's in prison that's international, If you guys could hook me up, I would highly appreciate it. Australia, New Zealand, Europe, the UK, shit, even Africa. Shoot it. Canada. I'm trying to make those international connections, if you will. So if you guys got any homies, people, or whatever, they got cell phones, shoot them this way. I need that. Ireland, yeah, Scotland, yeah, shoot it, DM me. We see, do you, I can't even read that. Anyhow, guys, hey, I do appreciate you guys, but I'm gonna go ahead and cut it because I haven't slept. I need some sleep. So, what time tomorrow? I normally jump on early. I jump on like at, I normally start about 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, which would be the Los Angeles time. Thank you for the follow. All right, guys. All right, hey, and if you haven't done so, please do so. Hit that follow button. All right. And like I said around here, life's like a candle. Once you blow it out, it's lights out. And with that, I'm out. And California does not offer, they don't offer border parole hearings. They're not open to the public, guys. All right, then. Hopefully that answers all your questions. If not, just send the question to the DM.